So 32 of the Switch RPG podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Philip, and I'm joined by the voice of the people himself, Gio. What's up, man?
The voice of the people. I absolutely love it every time you say it. Perfect.
The perfect ring to it. And we are joined, if you're watching live, you can see, by special guest Corey from Twitch. On Twitch, he's RPG Reruns.
Hey, how are y'all doing tonight?
Doing great. First off, real quick, how long have you been streaming?
Off and on for about, I don't know, probably like 2 years.
Nice.
So I did a lot of like Destiny off and on, just basically when I'd play, I did that. Then it's my New Year's resolution to be a little more, how you say, dependable on a schedule on the streaming. But yeah, so I've been doing it off and on for quite a while.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time listening, first of all, we want to welcome you. And second of all, we want to let you know that this is the show from SwitchRPG.com that brings you exciting news, upcoming game releases, and all the latest in the world of RPGs on the Nintendo Switch platform, as well as the others. And this week, we've got a stacked show for you. Just absolutely huge news. We're going to be talking about the Video Game Awards, which will have already aired when you're listening to this on Friday. If you're an audio listener, if you're watching live, you'll know that we're recording the day before the Video Game Awards. So we'll be talking about what we think, and you can judge afterwards if we were terribly wrong or if we were right on the money.
We'll be on the money for sure.
Yeah, it's a given.
Hey, Gio's always on the money.
Mm-hmm.
Then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll jump into listener questions, and finally, we'll talk about other stuff in the side quest, including the shocking results from the poll last week. We'll get into that later. Anyway, let's jump right into the news. We're going to be talking Switch stuff first, and then we'll go broad with other platforms. Coming up first, let's talk Switch RPG Game of the Year. If you follow Switch RPG on Twitter, which you should be doing, you will know that we posted, first of all, on our website, we posted the Switch RPG Awards for 2018. That was compiled by our writer, Jeremy Rice. Did a great job there.
Yep.
And then all of the polls are in a single easy thread to find on Twitter, as easy as Twitter can be. And Gio, do you have that poll up, or do you want me to read through it?
You're gonna have to read through it.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I was actually again, if you're watching live or whatever, I had your name and Corey's name mixed up, so I was doing some on the fly editing, and they're all fixed now.
Look at this guy. All right. Okay, so running down, we've got best turn-based RPG. We've got Battle Chasers, Night War, Darkest Dungeon, Octopath Traveler, and South Park Stick of Truth. Corey, did you have a favorite there?
I actually did. It was Octopath, but if you go by my Twitter result, I fat fingered it and put South Park Stick of Truth. So,
I saw you calling for a poll edit earlier.
you would think. I mean, it's almost 2019, and we can't edit a Twitter poll.
No.
Well, we can't even edit a tweet, right?
No.
Yeah.
That's still not a thing. So.
No, they should.
It stays.
They should allow, like, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds or something. It's like, just fix a spelling error or whatever.
Anyway, so for the record, it was Octopath.
Best tactical RPG. We got Banner Saga 3, Disgaea 1 complete, Into the Breach, and Valkyria Chronicles 4. Corey, hit us with your favorite.
I went with Valkyria Chronicles on this one.
I agree there.
It was. I'd never played the series. I played the first one before it came out. Really enjoyed it, and then the 4 was just more awesomeness.
Mm-hmm. And what was your thought on best turn-based, Phil?
Oh yeah, sorry. I had Octopath. I had Octopath there.
Yeah, I'm the lone wolf, I guess. That's okay.
I'm also gonna have to do some on-the-fly thing. I realized that I'm not logged into Twitter because I was gonna share the leader currently for each of these categories.
I mean, I'm actually logged on. I can give you that information right now. For best turn-based RPG, it's Octopath at 76%. It's kind of running away with that one. Myself, I voted for our Battle Chasers. I wasn't really, I mean, in terms of turn-based, I guess Octopath does a really good job. It's just, for me, I don't know. Octopath just kind of lost it for me. I just really totally lost interest in it.
Yeah, anybody who listened to the show kind of could see that coming because you were so all over Battle Chasers for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Of course.
And really, I think the only reason you kind of put it down was because other stuff came out. And then Octopath, I think it was like a 2-week window for you. And then you were just.
That was it. It was so repetitive and like, it just bored me. It really did.
It still took it for me.
Yeah. I mean, there are the other aspects. Like the battle system is different. It's different. There are other things that are really good about it. Like the music is really excellent. And there's, like I said, there's other things. It's just, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. There's no, it was too spread out. It was too spread out, kind of thin with all the stories just not really tying into each other. And
yeah, that's one aspect I think they could have focused a little more on. But when you're talking about the turn-based in general, I think they nailed it out of the park, like with actual turn-based RPG.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's just Battle Chasers just did it for me. I couldn't put the game down.
There you go.
And with Octopath, it just didn't hold my interest, so that's why I went with Battle Chasers.
Gio, go ahead and catch up with us. What was your tactical RPG choice?
My tactical RPG choice actually was Into the Breach. Mostly because that out of the 4, that's really the only one I've really played. Valkyria Chronicles really did interest me. It just wasn't in the budget, to be honest. So
yeah, that also influenced my decision. Sadly, Banner Saga 3 was really the only one that I put any time into. I did do the demo for 4, and I really enjoyed what I played, but I didn't have, it wasn't in the cards for me to get it. So
yeah.
But Corey, you said that was yours, was Valkyria Chronicles 4?
Yes, but Into the Breach is a very solid tactical game.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I still have yet to play Banner Saga 3, so I'm sure it was pretty sweet as well. I definitely need to jump on that. It's on the list.
Yeah, everyone's got the giant backlog, especially this time of year.
That's my New Year's resolution.
You say Valkyria Chronicles was leading that? Did we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're at 42%, and then Into the Breach is at 28%.
Okay. Best action RPG. We've got Child of Light, Diablo 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and East 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. Corey, what'd you go?
I went with Xeno.
Mhm.
Xeno, shocker. I
Yeah,
think that
same.
one's going to run with it. But yeah, it's just for action RPG isn't one of my favorite. It's probably my least favorite genres out of RPGs, but they were just so well done. It was definitely the one that ran away with it for me.
Yeah, same here, and everyone kind of agrees. It's at 55% with Diablo and Ys 8 at 18% tied. From what I know, Ys 8 is a really, really good game. Diablo 3, I've been playing the heck out of that too, and that's also a very good game. So
yeah, Meatball Sub from the site really evangelizes Ys 8 as a really great game. But
I haven't played Ys 8, but I did play Ys Origins because it was on sale. I picked it up, and first playthrough was back in September. I really enjoyed that, so I assume.
Yeah. I just think Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was just too much of a beast there.
It's a powerhouse, I think, for sure.
And just so everybody knows, we understand that it came out technically in 2017, but I believe we said that we were going from Game Awards last year,
right,
to Game Awards this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, because otherwise they would have been snubbed by everything.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have gotten into anything. So, and it deserves it.
Of course it does. Yep.
All right. Next up, we've got my absolute all-time favorite favorite subgenre, best roguelike. We got Crypt of the Necrodancer, Darkest Dungeon, Into the Breach, and Moonlighter. And just complete transparency, my vote in this one was completely meaningless. I knew nothing about any of these games. But I threw it in with Darkest Dungeon just because.
I mean, you just learned about what a roguelike is. So I mean, yeah. I did have a vote in this. I voted for Darkest Dungeon. I absolutely love the artwork. I love the narrator in this. I like the battle system. I think to me, it's the best. I've played two of the 4. Moonlighter did interest me. Again, not in the cards for me quite yet. But Darkest Dungeon, man, that is a really
I haven't played Moonlighter yet either, but it's on my list. But yeah, Darkest Dungeon, it's a sweep. That was by far the one that for roguelike, I thought I just ran away with it. I mean, from the narration, the artwork, it will take your soul though too. You can't get attached to anyone.
Yeah, you don't get attached to any hero for sure.
It was a really fun game. That was definitely top of my vote as well. But it's close race though.
It is very close. So you have the top 3 is Darkest Dungeon at 31%. Moonlighter at 29, Into the Breach at 27. So it is very, very close. And again, we have
3 days. 3 days left. That's anybody's vote.
Yep.
Best casual RPG. Up next, we got Dragon Quest Builders, Pokemon Let's Go, Undertale, and Yonder Cloud Catcher. Corey, go ahead.
So this is kind of how you were with roguelites. I haven't really played any of these games, but I have wanted to play Undertale, so I just haven't played it yet. So that's where my vote went. So.
Okay. For me, Undertale, it doesn't interest me. It's I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. Dragon Quest Builders. Oh man, that game. I played it with my son. That game is so boring. Pokemon Let's Go it got my vote. To me, that's probably the only one I can really be familiar with, I guess. Although, it's not your traditional Pokemon game, it still got my vote.
It's not your daddy's Pokemon.
No, it's definitely not my Pokemon.
This is another one, like, I played a little bit of Dragon Quest Builders, so that's where my vote went. Yes, I voted against the machine. I didn't go Pokemon Let's Go. So I went Dragon Quest Builders mainly because of the concept. Like I love the concept for it. I'm excited about Dragon Quest Builders 2. So that's where my vote went.
Cool. Yeah, Pokemon.
Who's leading?
50%.
Yeah, why did I even ask? Best studio. This was an interesting one. Best studio. We've got Monolith Soft, Neon Falcom, Square Enix, and Stoic Studio. This one kind of broke my heart a little bit, having to choose between a couple of these. Why are you shaking your head? Why are you shaking your head?
No, because I know you're not voting for Square Enix. So, I mean, you can just automatically cross that off the list. I know you have a really special place in your heart for Stoic Studio, and well-deserved. Neon Falcom, I mean, I guess you could put NISA. Is it NISA?
NIS America?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Because they're kind of the same company. And they put some quality games out as well. But yeah, so what was the problem here?
Okay. So Monolith Soft, because they only put quality. All right, Square Enix, because
they put quantity.
they have promised quantity, and then Stoic, because I think that they have put quality, and like they obviously are the underdog here, right? The indie studio that has put out 3 really, really solid games, 2 ports, and then obviously the release of Banner Saga 3, really good games, and they've got the collection on the Switch, so they've been putting in some work. So that's sort of the 3 that I was torn between, and I did go Monolith Soft because number 1, you put Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and then Torna Golden Country, 2 extreme quality stuff. And they did Xenoblade Chronicles 2 with like, they were understaffed because they were helping with Breath of the Wild. So, I mean, just like a great story. And then also, I'm not giving my vote to Square Enix because I'm not voting on promised potential when they could screw it all up. So,
No faith?
No, he's got
That's me in 2018. That's me in 2018. So,
I was the same. I went Monolith Soft. I mean, yes, for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and then Torna, just the support they've been giving Xenoblade Chronicles 2 with the DLC, the quality of the DLC, and then you have Torna, which is an expansion, which is it's like a full game in it of itself. Again, yeah, it had to go there for me.
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. I'm gonna echo a lot with what Philip said, but yeah, Monolith.
Up next, best music. We've got Octopath Traveler, Transistor, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Ys 8 Lacrimosa. Dana, Corey, what'd you think?
For me, I went Octopath, and one of the major reasons for myself was just the little details and the music and when you were in the battles, how it changed with the chapters. I know Geo probably didn't get that far into the game, but when you got to different chapters, the battle music would change. It was those little details, and it was really, really well done. So that got my vote.
Yeah, whatever.
Gio, you gonna go ahead and say that you put Xenoblade Chronicles?
I didn't actually. I didn't. You know what? I like the music. This one was the hardest one for me. I actually enjoy the music in Octopath. I enjoy the music tremendously in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yisei, I for YouTube I put together the audio files, kind of like a playlist type of deal, and I was going through a lot of the Yisei music, and a lot of it is really, really good. And I actually just did a recent playthrough for Transistor. That's what got my vote. Not because it's the most recent, but just the atmospheric music throughout the game. It was so cool. The main protagonist doesn't have a voice, except she sings and hums, but again, it's in the background, and it was so, I thought it was kind of spine chilling at times. It was really, really cool, really well done. Transistor got my vote here.
Cool. So from a clean sweep to we're completely all split on this one, because I went Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I thought that, I mean, obviously Octopath had great music. It really did. I was really impressed with it. I was, especially because it was the Square Enix smaller studio that, I shouldn't say that, but like coming from Lost Sphere and I Am Setsuna, which were like experimental soundtracks, I was glad to hear finally we're getting like a sort of a vintage full orchestral great Octopath soundtrack. But I went Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because, man, the variety and the sort of grandioseness of that soundtrack, and some of the maps that I would go into, I would just sit there and just listen. It was great.
And
it was great. So probably that.
I do the same thing. I don't generally listen to just kind of background music for game soundtracks, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is actually one that I do that for. So really, really cool. Really good soundtrack there.
Excellent. Next up, we've got Best Vocal Performance, starting with Banner Saga Series, Octopath Traveler, South Park Series, and Transistor. Geo, why don't you go first?
Again, I was a little torn here. I actually went Octopath Traveler. So I went Octopath Traveler. Transistor, the way that they narrated that story was through the sword. The sword itself narrates the entire story as you're progressing through. And he was also in Bastion as well. He did a really, really excellent job in Transistor. But I went Octopath Traveler. There's just a really good collection of people that do a great job in that. So that's where I went.
What you think, Corey?
That's exactly what I was thinking as well. It's just that it was a really good collection of various vocals. Obviously, in Octopath with 8 different storylines, you got a lot of different diversity in how they spoke, to their dialects, to their demeanor, through their vocals. So that's who I went with as well.
Octopath might have gotten cheated a little bit for me because I didn't play the game with the voiceover. I turned the voiceover off. So like Octopath, my journey through Octopath was silent. So I couldn't really vote for it in this category. So I went Banner Saga Series. And some people might wonder why that's really in there, because Banner Saga doesn't really have voice acting for the majority of the game. And I kind of struggled with choosing that because of that reason. But then the sort of explanation that I gave myself was, you know what? But the voice acting is very purposeful in that game because it's reserved for these really pivotal moments in the story, and these kind of like with the music, Corey, what you're talking about with Octopath, when things are changed, like when chapters would change, you'd kind of get that shift in tone, and they would use voice acting to kind of do that. And they did it extremely well. Actually, my only one of my big criticisms of it was that I wanted more. I wanted more. Like I thought that the acting was so well done. I wish that the whole game was voice acted. So
Yeah.
that's why I went there. I think it was well done. Best budget RPG, we've got Blossom Tales, Dragon Sinker, Into the Breach, and West of Loathing. Corey, what'd you think?
For me, this was easy for me. I went West of Loathing. I played it over the summer when I was waiting on. There wasn't a lot to play, and it cracked me up so many times, and I just had a really really fun time with it. It was just really well done, and yeah.
I've only played one game in here, and it's Into the Breach. So I mean, I kind of had to vote for that. I mean, I'm looking at the tallies here, and West of Loathing is almost at 80%.
209 votes.
Yeah, with quite a number of votes here.
I was about to say this category is through the roof with votes. Like, what's the deal?
Well, I'll tell you what the deal is. If you look at the retweets on that, the West of Loathing developer retweeted it, but also the Blossom Tales developer retweeted it as well. Now, Blossom Tale does interest me quite a bit, just because it looks like Link to the Past. It probably plays a little bit like it, so it's really one of my all-time favorites. I do need to give it a shot, and I want to play West of Loathing. That one looks really cool, really funny. I just didn't get it when it initially released, but it's on my list.
Yeah, so West of Loathing was one that I followed a while before it came out, and I really wanted to play it. Just didn't work out. I played Blossom Tales in this category, and I loved Blossom Tales. Absolutely adore Blossom Tales. So I went. That's where I went with this one. But man, I've heard nothing but good things about West of Loathing, though.
Yeah.
All right, and last but certainly not least, we got our Nintendo Switch RPG of the year. And in this category, we've got Diablo 3, the game that never dies, Octopath Traveler, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and East 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. Geo, where is your chip falling here?
It's Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I played so much of that game, probably close to 200 hours, just the main game. And there, like you were saying, there were times where you just kind of just standing there, taking it all in. There was so much to do. The battle system, once you learned it, it felt like a rhythm game. You're just kind of flowing, and I felt like I was a professional, finger masher, button pusher, playing that game. I absolutely enjoyed the hell out of that game. What do you got, Corey?
Corey, go ahead.
I went with Octopath Traveler in this one, and the reason why I did that is because I feel that it has more impact in maybe what future Switch games will have in store for us. The fact that they did the 2D HD, which kind of, in my opinion, kind of revolutionized how older RPGs can look on the Switch and how they can redo them successfully. So, and I loved just how the thinking outside the box to make an RPG different. I really, really appreciate that. So all the factors with the music, thinking outside the box, and maybe showing Square and some other developers what they can do for the future RPGs. That's why I got my vote.
Hey, if it wakes Square Enix up, then it's my game of the year too. No, I went with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for all the reasons that Gio said, and I just, there was a charm about that game that it clicked with me in ways that a game hasn't in a very, very, very long time. And look, Octopath Traveler was a real close second for me. It has a very, very, very special place in my heart, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2 just edges it out.
Right.
And they're two very different games.
Yeah,
so
they are.
And that really is the cool thing about that list there, is that is 4 extremely different games.
Any
really, really different.
Any snubs? Any snubs there for RPG of the year, do you think? I mean, I think it's a decent list there. I mean, considering like I said, we have the 4 there, and the top 2 vote getters are Octopath and then Xenoblade. So I can't think of anything else that could be on the list.
Gio, I know you and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Mario plus Rabbids is a game that was really good, and the people who played it love it, but it doesn't really get a lot of buzz. And I wonder if that is, Corey, you're talking about it being sort of the changing the way things go. I wonder if that is showing people that like tactical RPGs like that can, like XCOM likes, can work on Switch when people didn't really think that
don't
before.
use that word, please.
You opened the can of worms last week. Don't give me.
Don't
any
use
grief.
that word, or souls like, or we don't use
Souls-like.
We don't use those words here. Mario plus Rabbids, I think, was a 2017 game, but it definitely it's like a proof of concept, I guess you could say.
Oh, that's right. That's right. This year's felt long.
Also, I feel like you probably could have put Valkyria Chronicles on there too.
There you go.
But
You go.
I
That's
don't
a
think it
better
would
answer
change
than
that.
mine.
No, it definitely wouldn't have changed the top two, but I mean, all those games are really, really good. So
Yeah.
nice.
Speaking of XCOM, let's move over to WCCF Tech.
Excuse me.
Did I say all those letters right this time?
I think that's a first for them. I don't think we've ever gone there before.
Yeah, oh, this is definitely a first for them. Anyway, Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is a, shall I say,
Say it. Just say it.
XCOM-like game that could possibly be coming to Switch. We all know how professional video game journalist Geo hates rumors, and so that's why he put in about 3 or 4 rumors this week, and this being the first. Now, didn't you stream this game?
Yeah, I streamed it for a couple of hours, man. This is such a fun game. I love the dialogue between the characters as you're kind of moving from kind of the like enemy spawn points to enemy spawn points. Just the dialogue between the characters, the animations are really, really cool. The environment is awesome. It's kind of this post-apocalyptic game with mutants. It's really, really fun. And man, if this comes to the Switch, it will just print money. I'll say it. It'll print money.
Absolutely. I watched you play it, and it did look really fun.
Yeah.
You kind of died a lot, but I mean, it still looked really fun.
Can't hold that against the game.
That's, I mean, you know.
Like Salt and Sanctuary.
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, I don't know, because you kind of stream a lot, too. And Phil, you've streamed before. When you're playing a game streaming, you're kind of, my attention is just, like, is very dim to begin with, and then you just got all this stuff going on. You're trying to pay attention to the game. It just, you lose all concentration. And you know, if I was just playing that sitting on my couch, it would be a totally different experience. But you know what, I'll do better. I will do better.
So anyway, the heart of the story is Mutant Zero is coming out on PlayStation and Xbox tomorrow, or is this an older article? I can't remember what's the date on this article.
So on the 3rd, so I came out yesterday.
Okay, yeah, it came out yesterday. And in an interview with the developer, number one, they said that they're thinking about mod support for PCs, so that's cool. I mean, I'm all for mods all anywhere, but what
just
we're
not
obviously
the way Bethesda does it.
But what we're actually interested in, the very last question, as probably every single developer on the face of the earth gets asked now, is, are you thinking about the Switch? His answer is, that is something we'll look into soon. So, you know, there it is. But
it puts
this
hope,
is a game,
you know, in the heart.
Yeah, this is a game that Geo's really he's got his stamp of approval on this game
for sure.
So, you know, between this game and Divinity Original Sin, if these things ever actually come to the Switch, then we'll be in good shape.
You'll never see me. You'll never see me.
Just go to youtube.com/SwitchRPG and you'll see him.
I'll be there.
Speaking of rumors, if one wasn't enough for you, let's go for another. Okay, where we're going over to Nintendo Everything, where the rumor is circulating that German retailer, I don't even know the name of this German retailer, Media Market. There's apparently an Assassin's Creed compilation for the Switch and other platforms too, but for the Switch.
Right.
Guys, what do you think about this?
I think that's huge. I mean, it just seems like the Switch just keeps on becoming more and more broad. Like they keep on getting more and more titles. Like people are finally jumping on board, and I think for the next year to 2 years, you're just going to see a lot of content to be had.
Okay, 2 things here real quick. I think you're totally right. I think that probably many people are getting fatigued of the port game here. It seems like everything's coming over, and people are probably going to complain about it, and they're just going to complain. I think it's great though, because this is the exact opposite of what happened to the Wii U. The Wii U, you had developers jumping off that thing and getting as far away from it as you can, but having these third parties coming in and putting games on the Switch, that's good. It's healthy for the platform. Yes, we still want to get games made for the Switch. That is our primary concern. But if we have Assassin's Creed, if this gets another life, these older games, if they get a new life on this platform that millions of people have, I think that's great. Number 2, the biggest question of all, and I love the fact that Gio, you put this in here, because my question to you is Assassin's Creed an RPG?
No, it's not.
Yes.
No, it's not. But a lot of people consider it an RPG, I guess. But I mean, it's just one of those titles that have the big name behind it, and it just shows you that the Switch is one of the big boys in the playground here. Developers are putting higher or more games that need more power, and it's looking great on the Switch, and all this is excellent. But I don't even like Assassin's Creed, to be honest with you. It's not one of my things, but I know a lot of people love it, and
I've never finished an Assassin's Creed game.
I don't think anyone ever has. No one's truly finished an Assassin's Creed game. They just say they have, but It's good news, and who's to say, now that they've done this, maybe we'll get future titles from them. So
my thing is with Assassin's Creed is like the only games that have really interested me from that series are the most recent ones, the last 2, because they kind of went more open world and they kind of highlighted more RPG elements.
Yeah.
And then of course we're just getting the older ones that I don't really care. But I know a lot of people do. And a lot of people probably would want to sort of revisit them and,
sure,
new spick and span look and feel and everything.
And I wonder how many games that actually is. Like, is it the 1 through 3?
Probably the first 3.
Yeah,
I would say 3 probably.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking.
Black Flag would be in there for sure. All right. Let's move on to. I feel like oh, there we go. Okay. I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit in the list because
shocker. Go ahead.
Yeah. Nintendo Soup. We've got Animus is heading to the Nintendo Switch worldwide. Somebody who actually knows what really this is want to comment on this? I'm not familiar with Animus.
I saw this on the rundown and I looked at the trailer.
Okay. I don't feel so bad.
It looks interesting. It's a action RPG and a lot of armor, a lot of ghouls and goblins, and a lot of axe and hammer swinging. So
it's in the same.
That's like the perfect game for you, right? Action RPG and
yeah, right up my alley, right in my wheelhouse.
It's in the same vein as Dark Souls.
What? So what kind of game is it?
It's a Souls like.
Yeah. Okay. It's a Soulsborne game.
There you go. So we
have
a Souls-like game coming up.
Coming to Japan December 6th, Europe December 24th, and America January 3rd. So if you're into that thing, there you go. All right, on to something that might interest all of the hosts on this panel here. Perhaps we are going back in order now, guys. Coming from Stealth, the Nintendo tweeting master himself, Intelligent Systems has announced that there's going to be a Fire Emblem Expo next year. Now, my question is that May 4th or is that April 5th?
It says Saturday on there, and I did some investigating, and in May and April, the 5th doesn't fall on it, so I don't know. Maybe I didn't do enough. Maybe that's maybe I pulled it up. Maybe it's a way of
just double check that math.
Yeah, here we go.
Boy,
this is carrying over one real quick.
This is
Southern
Saturday
math. Is the 6th. Oh no, it's May. It's May.
Okay.
And goes, May the 4th be with you.
May 4th.
Oh yeah, May 4th. Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Checks
Star
out.
Wars Day. All right. Okay. So May 4th, 2019, Fire Emblem Expo. Stealth as he does, giving us his sort of predictions here. He's got that we'll see Fire Emblem Heroes, Fire Emblem Three Houses, which, according to him, will have a release date by then, which makes a lot of sense. And then a new Fire Emblem remake for the Switch, Fire Emblem Three Houses character for Smash. Gio, what you think?
I honestly hope that Three Houses was getting released before this.
That's what I was thinking too.
I was hoping February.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that was already the case, but then when I read this, I was like, okay, I guess it's not.
I mean,
this is how backlogs start.
right.
This is how it all starts.
I mean, is it a possibility that maybe they'll show some DLC off then? I mean, but why have an expo then just for DLC? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, there's a lot of other things. Like if they port some stuff over and which kind of makes it sound like, from the way I'm reading it, that there's going to be the remakes for Switch and stuff like that. So they may announce the remakes coming to Switch, and then, hey, we also have DLC. I mean, that's a lot of content.
Do you think it's enough content to warrant an expo, though? I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It probably means that we're going to be waiting.
Oh, man.
Or Three Houses.
That's
I'm a
like-
king of wishful thinking here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what, guys? I mean, the level of things that at least Stealth is predicting, doesn't that just feel like maybe a Fire Emblem related direct or something?
Yeah.
You know, why have an actual like big on? Is this going? Is it? Does this have the potential of being like a Square Enix type deal where there's really nothing?
What do you mean? Just to show off all the stuff?
Okay, think the Square Enix the Square Enix thing at E3, right? Where it showed a lot of things, but all things that we already knew. Like, that's kind of what this feels like. I mean, this is like a bunch of things that either aren't really meaningful or we already know.
I hope it's that. I hope it's the latter. I hope we already know like all this, not all of this stuff, but I really wanted to play Three Houses, and now
I'm glad that Corey said that about February, because I thought it was coming out like.
I'm going to take a turn to Negative Town, and I think they're going to release Three Houses in May or June. I would say June, maybe late June.
Yeah.
Now, this is what it makes me feel like.
What were the initial thoughts on the release date? Did they ever say anything, show anything? Did they say spring?
I thought they said spring.
Yeah, I did too.
What do you think we could get? It could be shown in some directs. We could get sort of a little media blitz. Do you think they dare do an out today?
With that game, you can't, because it's got physical release.
Plus, that's a Saturday.
Right.
Yeah. Can't confirm.
It's a good thought, though.
It could be available next month or something, June, like at like an E3
right,
deal.
But I mean, generally they don't do that. They give you a little bit of lead up time, so they'll.
I want to say that during when they had the video at last E3 that they said early 2019. I could have swore that's what it said.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't like it.
Come on, Fire Emblem. I need to play my first Fire Emblem game.
I know, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for it as well.
Corey, are you a big Fire Emblem guy?
I'm kind of like you. I want to play because I didn't have
Okay.
a Game Boy Advance or anything like that, so I haven't really played any of the titles. But I played Fire Emblem Warriors, and again, action RPG wasn't really up my alley. But the tactical, I started once they had the reveal trailer. I was like, oh yeah, this is in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it.
All right. Next up, we got another anticipated release from 2019. That is, of course, the Pokemon 2019. It appears, according to lootbots.com, that the Western localization has begun, which I hope it has. This isn't a game that I thought was going to be released in February, but if it is going to be released next year, I hope that localization is underway, and it does look like that it is, according to some job postings and some sort of buzz around, according to the article here, the London office. So, guys, hopeful for that Pokemon? Yeah.
Let's just say I've yet to catch them all.
You have yet to catch them all.
I've yet to catch a single one.
I was so close when Pokemon X and Y came out. I was really, really close. Only about 100 off, so I consider that quite...
How many are there?
Now there's probably over 800.
I'm probably like 799 off.
I want to say for X and Y, I have about 600, and there's about 700 at the time.
Woo.
And it's for you guys who don't know, it was a living Pokédex. So I had every single one. Literally, I had them all 700 of them, alive, in my Pokébank. All right, I love it, man. It's so much fun, so much fun. I mean, I wish and I hope that they do kind of change things up a little bit. I do like I prefer the older battle mechanic over what we got going on in Let's Go. And I know Let's Go is more geared towards, like, say, a casual audience. What are you throwing? What are you throwing? Pokeballs at?
My Pokeball.
Stop.
Yeah, my Pokeball.
Stop it. You're distracting me. See, there goes the ADD. I'm done.
You just missed it. It's out the window.
It ran away. Now you guys are making fun of me. No, but seriously, I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope it has the aesthetic of what Let's Go has done. So I kind of hope they blend it in a little bit. It'd be nice.
Outside looking in, I liked the art direction of Let's Go.
Yeah, good. Play it.
All right.
I stole my son's.
All right, let's that's all of the Switch news. Let's switch gears for just a second. We're actually going to go outside gaming for just a second, but I thought that this was kind of interesting. My brother texted me this earlier because he knows how big of a Jeremy Soule fan I am. But there is inklings out there that Jeremy Soule, the I would say famed composer of the Elder Scrolls games, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. He's done work on World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, so much more than that. But he has a desire to compose the new Amazon television series for The Lord of the Rings. I just thought this was really interesting. These are sort of two of my sort of staples in life and growing up. Jeremy Soule's music and the Lord of the Rings IP franchise,
specifically Legolas. You wanted to be.
Anyway, you guys, does this interest you at all, or is it just me? You a fan of Jeremy Soule?
I mean, I'm picturing that music in Lord of the Rings, and I think it's a perfect match. I think it's a home run.
Yeah. Anyway, so just a little something to get everybody excited.
I agree as well. Now I know. Do you have the Amazon?
I do.
Okay.
Is this active or is this coming?
No, it's coming.
Okay.
They just recently got Lord of the Rings and one other big hitter. Do you know what it is, Phil?
This is usually my bread and butter.
It was a sci-fi sort of deal. Shoot, I don't remember what it was. But anyways, Amazon's trying to stay in the game with trying to keep up with Netflix, which is really going to be really, really difficult. But having these titles like Lord of the Rings, and yeah, that music with Elder Scrolls, it just kind of fits. It fits really, really well, actually. You got it there, Phil? You got it pulled up? The information superhighway.
Those were my keys typing.
Okay.
Nope, that was mine, and I'm gonna fail. So
yeah. Mission aborted.
Oh no.
I'm really not sure. I keep my eyes on this. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. So
I'll figure it out for you guys.
Yeah. We'll tweet it out later this week or something. I don't know. Anyway, guys, let's take a moment of silence for a second. Not because of anything bad, because we have the privilege and the honor of covering what I would consider to be one of the greatest pieces of possible news that we've ever covered on this podcast. And that is that I'm going to give it a second for me to cue the music, but that there will be Dragon Age news coming from BioWare at the Video Game Awards. Let's just, all right, yes.
No one cares.
Could be Dragon Age 4. Could be Dragon Age 4. Could be Dragon Age 5. We don't know. It could be nothing. It could be another slew of mediocre, comics for all. I'm kidding. I love the comics. But anyway, we got this story going all over the place. We included an article from GameSpot. I'm just going to read a little bit here from it, and it says the Dragon Age franchise has been quiet since 2014's Dragon Age Inquisition. That's a little untrue because you did have the DLCs, but anyway, but that's set to change soon. BioWare's Casey Hudson says that the company is preparing to say more about its plans for the series sometime in December. If you've been following these blogs or myself and Mark Dara on Twitter, you know we're also working on some secret Dragon Age stuff. Dragon Age is an incredibly important franchise in our studio, and we're excited to continue its legacy. Look for more on this in the coming month, though I won't tell you where to look. That was coming from GameSpot. This is coming from a link that died, VentureBeat.com. And it says that Dragon Age 4 is at least 3 years away. There's more stuff from Casey Hudson, but it's possible that we could see the reveal, at least a title screen or something at Video Game Awards.
That'll do it for you.
I'm almost too scared to be excited.
I hear you. I will take anything though. I mean, I love Dragon Age as well. Like it's I've played it, every single title. It's awesome. It's great. It's one of the best RPGs on the market. And
what?
Yeah, it's facts. I mean, you can't argue it. It's just facts. And then also with, like you said, like there's comics and this being 3 years away, I would not be surprised if maybe, I don't know if this would be the venue where they do it, but maybe they'd say like, hey, we have a Netflix series coming out. You think possible?
Oh!
You think possible? You think? I mean, with Castlevania doing so well,
Okay, all right.
Wait,
you're the one that opened that can can of awesomeness. Then we'll go down this path. Oh, put on my tinfoil hat here. Yeah. It's possible. They are so committed to multimedia stuff. They've already got a movie. Granted, it wasn't that good, but and I've said this. We've Gio and I have played the game of what should be a movie. I said Dragon Age. I said do its own story. That's what they do in the comics. They tell stories from other parts of the world featuring other characters and stuff. I would love it in the Castlevania style. That sort of drawn, slight anime tinge. Man, I feel like it fits the aesthetic. Do it. Bring it on. Yes. But also bring on Dragon Age 4.
Yeah, that too.
Do you guys?
But please don't make it numbered. I want another subtitle. I'm a sucker for the
I don't
subtitle.
think they will. I don't think they will.
Yeah.
So you want?
It still bothers me that
Dragon Age domination.
Yeah. Look, there's also been an incredible amount. There's been an incredible amount of sort of buzz about some remasters too. I mean, I would take that. I don't know just how viable that is, how reasonable that is, but I have seen on Reddit and Twitter, there's a lot of people kind of, thinking that it's a possibility. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I've said before, I would take, especially a Dragon Age 2 sort of remaster, in a heartbeat. I think it'd be interesting. What is also interesting is that Dragon Age 2 is now backwards compatible on Xbox One, and it was the free with gold. So Dragon Age is back in people's minds now.
They're just trying to give the game away is what they're doing. Here, just take it.
Oh,
we don't want it. You have it. That's what they're doing.
Oh my god.
You know what? I like the game. I really do. I'm only giving you guys a hard time.
Okay.
All right.
All right, go finish one and come back and tell me.
Anyway. You know what? I would love to finish Inquisition, except it takes me forever just to, like, I don't know, get from point A to point B with absolutely zero things going on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it does that in Breath of the Wild, but I love that one anyway, so whatever.
And last thing we got in here, and we're kind of going to skip it for now because we're going to do that in side quest. But for those who didn't know, if you're listening to this on Friday, the Game Awards was last night. Go watch a highlight video if you didn't catch it live. But there's going to be a bunch of stuff going on. I've got an article here that gives a rundown of all the things to expect. But we're going to kind of do our own predictions in the side quest later. So we'll refer to this later. For now, that wraps up the news, and we can jump into what we've been playing. And since we do have a guest on, Corey, why don't you lead us off with what games you've been playing this week?
Absolutely. So I actually just finished a review for God Wars. It's a tactical RPG on the Switch, and it was a really great game. Really enjoyed it. A lot of Final Fantasy Tactics vibes, but throw in anime and manga into it, and that's kind of what you have there. And then been playing a little bit of Overwatch. I can play that occasionally, throw that in there. And I just started, actually last night I started Golf Story. I got the physical copy and I started Golf Story.
Oh, baby. Yeah.
Not very far at all, but it's the opening scenes and everything just made me laugh out loud a little bit. I think I'm really going to enjoy that.
Yeah, going back to you talking about laughing West of Loathing, if you like that real quirky humor and it's kind of dry, man, Golf Story made me laugh out loud probably the most of any game I've played on the Switch. And I haven't played West of Loathing, but man, I loved Golf Story.
Absolutely, yeah, that's definitely a vibe that I got, like, just from the opening credits. I was like, yeah, this is probably going to be up my alley. Plus I'm like awesome at golf.
Oh, golf.
Are you for real good at golf?
Oh yeah, I'm good at
no.
Terrible.
Okay. All right. No, I don't play either, but whatever. Phil, what have you been playing? Dragon Age?
No. Remember, I finished Inquisition, so I like tore myself away from it. It was painful, but I sort of have extended some of my time in Breath of the Wild. If you remember from last week, I kind of got back into that. Like I talked about last week, had to relearn that language, and I was kind of back in the flow of things. I actually defeated my final divine beast, because remember I put over 100 hours into it, didn't complete the game because I was going through and getting every shrine. So I now have all 4 divine beasts, and now I'm going around collecting memories, and then I will finally take on Ganon, maybe 150 hours in. For the first time. So that's what I've been doing. Also, something that I have sort of been consumed with, and it is in the realm of video games, if you're interested. And I know I am way late to the game here, but I got addicted to this little YouTube series. It's a little upstart YouTube series. Not many people have heard about it, but it's called Critical Role. Which is
Are you serious?
So I started watching that for the first time, and I started with their second campaign that they started back in January. Absolutely adoring it, and the way that sort of really ties into video games is, if you're one of the 3 people out there that doesn't know what it is, it's voice actors playing D&D, and we are talking. I texted my friend. I was like, dude, this is like half of every voice in every video game ever in a single game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's DM'd by Matt Mercer, and oh my god, like, just he's so phenomenal, and he does all the voices.
Really, really good.
He's such a good DM. And then is played by his wife Marisha Ray, who's in a lot of things. Travis, I lost his last name, Willingham or something like that. Liam O'Brien, Laura Bailey. It is a great cast. Ashley Johnson appears in it as well. So just a phenomenal cast, and they do the voices for their characters, and it's just really cool. So anyway, if you haven't watched Critical Role, and you're halfway interested in D&D, go check it out.
I am a lot of way interested in D&D. And I've been watching Critical Role for a little bit now, and they actually, in Divinity Original Sin, there's something called Game Master Mode, where you can actually simulate the experience of playing D&D. It's available on PC, it's available on Xbox as well, and those guys do it with Divinity Original Sin. And
Really?
yeah, it is I think they just played it like a couple hours. It is phenomenal. It is so funny. All of the guys there that are in Critical Role, they are hilarious. They are so funny.
And their characters from their first campaign actually appeared in Pillars of Eternity 2, I believe.
Yep.
So
yeah,
all of their actual D&D characters,
they're
voiced
like,
by themselves.
Yeah, they are voices in everything. Video games.
Everything, and it's so cool whenever one of them will like give me a tinge of something. I'm like, oh my god, it's that guy.
And I think Matt Mercer's in Overwatch, isn't he? The cowboy man.
I think McCree.
High Noon Man.
Yeah.
High Noon. I think he's the voice of him.
I'm your Huckleberry.
He's in everything. He's really talented.
I mean, I feel like if we're talking about the breadth of things that people have been in, it's like Nolan North, Troy Baker, Matt Mercer. Like you get those three guys, and it's like probably like 78-80% of games ever created.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well,
what?
That's sorry. No, McCree, he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Gia, what have you been playing?
I finished.
Let me go get a drink. Okay.
Go ahead. I don't even care. So yeah, I finished Transistor. I've been playing, still playing Diablo 3, and I started Mutant Year Zero. We talked about Mutant Year Zero, and man, I really hope that comes out for the Switch, because I can imagine just taking that on the go, playing it whenever I feel like it at work. I mean, not at work. Yeah. So I've been diving into those games. I still have Red Dead Redemption 2, just chilling out there. I played like an hour maybe of that game. So yeah, right now it's Mutant Year Zero and the Diablo game.
That little Diablo game. Alrighty. Yeah, that rest of it playing. Good segment. Now let's talk about sales and releases. Let's see. Let's do releases here. Releasing this week on the 4th of December was Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, and then
which we have a review for, I believe.
We do.
Excellent. And then also on here are like 5 entries for the Atelier series, which I know nothing about, but I'm just going to read them off, and if this sounds familiar to you, then wonderful. This also released on the 4th. Atelier Arland Series Deluxe Pack, Atelier Maruru, The Apprentice of Arland, Atelier Totori, The Adventure of Arland, and Atelier Rurona, The Alchemist of Arland. There you go.
Great job.
There you go. I feel like there are 8,000 Atelier titles.
How long are those games? They seem like, to put out a bunch of them, they must be kind of short, I would think.
I have no idea. I mean, I think this was the series that like the mainline series. There was like 24 of them in the last 20 years. So they're like, they come out every like less than a year.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's see. Then we've got sales here: Brave Dungeon plus Dark Witch Story, Crimson Deep, Dragon Sinker, Moonfall Ultimate, Neon Chrome. Next up, Hero, 9 Parchments, Super Daryl Deluxe, and The Swindle. So
how much is Lost Sphere?
Probably at this point $89.99.
Still full price.
More than likely, and that's on that is actually 25% off. Yeah. So that game actually the value goes up the longer it's been out.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a cool thing about that game. And remember, all of your sales and releases brought to you every week by SwitchList.app, the best way to find all the games that you want on the Switch ever. It's better than the eShop.
Probably.
So some people say. It really is. It really is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hear from you. It's that part of the show where we reach out into, I don't know, the internet sphere and pull out questions from you guys. And we actually do have the mailbag. The mailbag. I don't have a bag, but I'm reaching in and I got a single question.
There we go.
By SwitchRPG podcast Hall of Famer Paul Nichols is back this week with a question. And he asks, what RPGs are you most excited to share with your kids as they grow up? Or your hypothetical kids, in my case, as they grow up.
Now, Corey, do you have any children?
I do not.
You do not?
No, I got 2 dogs.
2 dog children. Okay. I mean,
what games are you excited about sharing with your dogs?
Oh, well, this is easy. I've been playing it since I don't know, since I was in middle school, but you know, my first love has always been Madden, you know. Just old John just knew how to deliver all the instructions that you need to know. Like when you messed up, he was right there to coach you back up, and it was just something that's kind of made me the person I am today.
You've been dying to just spit that nonsense.
Oh, but in all actuality, my RPG would be Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics, because when I was in middle school, that's when it came out. Like we had our tangible memory cards, and we'd go over to our friend's house and we compare like our parties and just like
nerding it up.
Yeah, we would nerd out about it. We knew every part of that game. So yeah, that'd be the game.
Okay. Well, for me, it would be Secret of Mana. I think I would love for my son. My daughter she's not really into games quite yet, and my son Elijah, he's really into them. He actually loves playing Breath of the Wild, just kind of the exploration. And then when he gets next to the spiders, he hands the controller over to me because he can't defeat him. But anyways, Secret of Mana, I do have the original cartridge, which he's not ever allowed to touch. But I do have also the SNES Classic, which he can play, and Secret of Mana is on that, and I think it's more accessible for someone his age. Now granted, he won't understand a lot of the stories or anything like that, but I think I would love for him to experience RPGs the way I did with that. And I think Secret of Mana is up there, as well as something like Pokemon, which he's kind of getting into the animation. So I think him being able to play that as well will also be, I think I think he'll be excited for it. So Secret of Mana, and as well as Pokemon. Like I said, it's more accessible for him, especially at this age. He's 5 now, so what do you got, Phil? What are you doing?
So for me, it would be I'm sort of taking this from sort of experience with me and my youngest brother. He is 12 years younger than I am. So when he was sort of at that age where he started understanding video games and things like that, so like 5, 6 years old, I was late teens, so like 17, 18, 19 years old, and sort of the first game that we both loved at the same time, and I was able to sort of introduce to him, and then he took it way beyond my love for it, and it's just his favorite thing in the world is Kingdom Hearts. And so mine would be like the original Kingdom Hearts, which I think has loads of nostalgia for me, and just loads of memories And I think that is a game that can span generational gaps. If you played it when you were younger too, I think. And it incorporates Disney characters and things like that. So if they've kind of grown up, if you've introduced them to the world of Disney, then it is sort of a kind of a good first step into the world of RPGs. It is loosely RPG, right? It's very action oriented, but I think that is a good one. And like I said, I already have sort of that experience with my a brother who's a lot younger than I am. And he absolutely loved it, and it was cool for me to see sort of his passion grow for it. And one of the neatest things for me is for me to have introduced that to him. He go and beat Kingdom Hearts 2 when he was like 6, and I was like, did I even know how to hold a controller when I was 6? Like, I don't even know. And then and then now he is texting me news about Kingdom Hearts 3, and like he's so excited about Kingdom Hearts 3. That's like his entire world right now. And he's getting news that I pay attention to this stuff, and he's like still beating me to some of the news for Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's just been a really cool experience watching him grow up with that series. And so with my hypothetical child, it would be Kingdom Hearts.
No, I mean, granted, yes, you guys don't have children, but you can bring something, like you said, you
for
growing up,
Yeah, for a younger, I was just this game just popped in. I don't even remember what you did in it, but Quest 64. I mean, that's a little
okay.
A little N64. You just move around, and you had a wand, and that's all I remember from it. Had RPG elements.
Gio doesn't remember that because he doesn't like that. The N64 doesn't exist in his memory.
Doesn't actually? I see it right over here next. I might even just throw it away. I don't.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it on stream.
It'll still show up. It'll just show up back in the same spot.
I believe I have
indestructible.
I believe I have like 4 of these stupid consoles. Let me just see this thing. Excuse me.
He's just gonna stream one night, just like setting it on fire. I think if you put a game in there, you're playing the game, you set the console on fire, the game would still work.
Well, your first problem is that it's not like the neon green version.
Oh, I need the Mountain Dew. No.
Yeah,
no.
Turok.
Yeah. No, it's not even the.
It needs to
Pokemon
be like
one.
It needs to be like transparent.
No, this thing's going in the trash. Of all the consoles I have, that's the least played one, and it's the one I have the least amount of games for. It's just the controller's terrible. The games on it.
Oh boy! Thank you so much to Paul Nichols once again for that great question. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to tweet at us and let us know what you think, what game would you like to share with your kids, or games have you already shared with the kids if you have them? So let us know. Tweet us at SwitchRPG. All right, guys. Hang on a second. Pack your bags. It's time for a side quest.
I'm taking my N64 with me.
Because it's the only console worth taking. Anyway. Before we jump into this week's side quest, which is going to be all about the
VGAs.
The VGAs, the Video Game Awards. Gia, why don't you take us back down memory lane here, and we bring in last week we talked about what language of an animal would you like to learn, and we had a little bit of a face-off. Why don't you tell the good people what the final results were?
All right, I'll have to pull up the results. Now, the 4 options, were dolphin language, whale language, wolf language, and kitty cat language. Is that what it was?
It was lion language. Thank you.
Lion language. My apologies.
King of the jungle.
Now I'm sorry. I'm kind of just stalling while I find the tweet here.
So anyway, Gio had dolphin and whale. He brought that to the table. I brought wolf and lion, the 2 greatest animals in the animal kingdom, to the table. Corey, did you have an opinion? Did you have?
There's no doubt. There's no doubt that it's whales, because they can tell you where all the sunken treasure is at the bottom of the sea.
Oh,
I mean, and then you become a billionaire.
but I think dolphins could probably do it better.
They can't dive
They
that
can't get
far.
that far. Okay.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah,
You're right. And
yeah.
when you're right, you're right.
I couldn't even get the dolphins to swing through the stinking rings in Echo Jr. on the Sega Genesis.
Well, the first
Well,
blob.
that's because you can talk to them.
No, if you were speaking the same language, you'd be all right. But I think the final outcome, and again, I'm still. Where is this on Twitter? Because I can't find.
I know what the final outcome was.
Obviously, you know.
It was Wolf by a large margin.
I don't know about large margin.
A sizable margin.
An okay margin.
A whale-sized margin.
Let's see here. I don't think I voted on this poll yet, so maybe I can
Well,
swing it.
the poll is over.
It's over.
Oh, okay. Now that I'm seeing it.
Twitter is the hardest thing to find something on.
Yeah. Yes.
After-
it is.
Unless
it's
you
like
don't want to
cheatable.
see it, then it's like
All right, so here are the final results. We have the lowest coming in at 10%, which is lion.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is actually more egregious than the. Go ahead.
Which was
It will eat-
your first choice.
I
the
know.
lion will eat your face.
It will, but so
It'll
Not
say-
if you talk to it.
It'll say, "Oh, hello. Now I'm going to eat you."
It'll be like,
then you
"Please
know.
don't eat me. We're cool."
And then the second least amount was whale at 15%, which
That makes sense.
no, it doesn't. It makes the
No.
least amount of sense. And then
You know what makes
dolphin.
sense? When I'm rich in my mansion, you're going to know what happened.
Then we have dolphin at 26%. You know,
The whale whisperer.
I'm the dolphin whisperer. But then we have wolf at 49%.
That's pretty sizable.
Who
Just
wants-
more. That's more animals to eat you.
My God, what is this? Twilight? No one wants to know about wolf speak at all. I don't understand these people. I think what's happened here is people want to
Release the beast.
no, they want to communicate with their dogs, and they feel that wolves are probably closely related to dogs, and that's why they voted for wolf. Which is, I can't even say what it is right now. It's unbelievable.
Well, you're actually onto something. Thank you for actually making more people. People will probably switch their vote after what you just said
Polls
because
are closed. Polls are
because
closed.
dogs
And
are,
it's Twitter.
Yes.
dogs are so smart that once you learned wolf speak, you could teach your dog wolf speak, and then you could talk to your dog. So there you go.
So I think that's what swung that vote, which I think people,
People
It's-
know what they want. Look,
it's
people know what
wolves,
they
not dogs, okay? How many fake accounts did you create to swing that vote?
want. Apparently more than your fake account.
Yeah, so,
Or I think your fake accounts were the ones voting on the casual.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
All 200 of them. All right. So this week's side quest is all about the video game awards. As we've said before, if you're listening live, you're watching us live over on youtube.com/SwitchRPG, then you can predict along with us. If you're listening on your favorite podcast app on Friday, you'll know that it's already happened. So we'll see how we did. But Gio, anything you feel you want to go like swing for the fences? Swing for the fences. Anything that you would love to see?
You mean kind of really like shown to us? I'm
Yeah, and
okay. As far as thing like Metroid, I really want to see Metroid 4. I want to see something other than just the title screen, but I'm really interested in, we talked about this in a previous episode, Obsidian's new game, whatever it is. I want to know what it is. I have a feeling it's going to be something tactical, because that's really kind of what they're known for. If it's something similar, the same vein as Fallout New Vegas, I'm all in. So I'm really interested in what Obsidian has for us, as well as I really want to see. I want to see something about Metroid, for sure.
Corey, you got something you want to see?
I don't have anything off the top of my head. I just want that wow factor, you know, that they're like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that. and then get the hype train going on, and it rolls right into the next year, and then it's gaming season all over again. So that's kind of my hope. Just something.
Mm-hmm.
I am going, I guess, somewhat unrealistic. Like, I just don't think that this would happen. But it's the game. It's the video game wars. Anything can happen. Last year, Zelda had a pretty big presence. With Breath of the Wild was huge, winning Game of the Year. Right, it won Game of the Year. Right, I'm not making that up.
You could be right. You might be making it up.
Did I make that up? Did it win Game of the Year?
It was Game of the Year in our hearts.
Yeah, true.
Anyway,
it won a bunch of other awards. But
let me do a Bing search here.
It did also have the DLC drop that night. That was a big splash, right? So I would love to see what's next for Zelda, because you had a game that took the world by storm, that so many people loved, that gave us the Zelda series in a way we'd never seen it before, changed the face of open world games. Like, an open world game could not be the same after that, because it did so many different things with physics and the actual definition of open world. What does Zelda look like now? How, because like, you've had sort of the 3D Zelda and the 2.5D Zelda kind of existing side by side, like the bigger game and the smaller game. So I'm interested to see what's next for Zelda. And I think what better place than on stage of the Video Game Awards. So
I'd love to see that. I think it might be a little early, but I'm for it. And yes, Zelda did win Game of the Year.
Okay.
As well as many other things.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, completely unrealistic, because Corey came on the show and it's probably going to break my heart tomorrow night. But something Dragon Age TV show wise, oh my god, that'd be great.
It's done.
So, yeah,
It's
already there. Available tonight on Netflix.
Let the binging begin.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I would watch it.
So, Gio, how do you kind of want to handle like predictions and things? Or
the site that you linked doesn't have the categories and the games, and that's
I have them on.
You have them in front of you?
Well, like when I googled it on my phone, it just has a nice little neat. It has a Game of the Year, multiplayer Game of the Year, independent game, fighting game.
Okay.
It has all the games listed, not with all the nominees. Role-playing game.
Yeah, I just kind of, like we did with our list here, I'd like to kind of run through it like
gotcha.
And I think getting an article from Forbes about this is a bad idea.
VGA Awards nominee.
And it's weird that the Avengers 4 director is going to be there as well. So we'll be getting an Avengers.
It's going to be a crazy show.
It's very
going to be
different.
A crazy show.
It's very different than what your expectation is. It's got so many different things going on. Last year there was music, right? There were I think they had Zelda, the Zelda Orchestra there. They had the weird dude from A Way Out?
Yeah.
That developer. He's going to be back, so who knows what he's going to do.
Blank the Oscars.
Yeah, so it will definitely be interesting. So IGN does have the nominations and the categories. There are a ton.
Yeah, there are.
So we're not going to go through all of them, but let's just go maybe best score / music.
Okay.
Again, I haven't played all these games that are here. I played some of them, but for best music we have Celeste, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Red Dead Redemption. Corey, go.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with God of War.
God of War.
Just the whole score, like when you were in battle, you felt the battle and the music going along. It was really awesome.
God of War, okay.
Yeah, and I'm keeping a tally. I'm keeping a tally so we can look at it later. Okay, so best score music. Oh, I also. I mean, are we allowed to vote for the same thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I've got to go God of War 2. That
Okay.
that is the soundtrack that it is funny. My boss at work, he doesn't have a PlayStation. He doesn't own a PlayStation. But when I played God of War, heard the music, Bear McCready is just an absolute monster. He is such a good composer. And I went to my boss and I was like, look, I know you don't even have a way to play this game, but please listen to the soundtrack. And I swear to you, we listened to the soundtrack every day before work for 3 months straight.
Wow.
It was probably my favorite soundtrack in probably 2 years.
Wow.
So what do you have, Gio?
I've only played one of the games there, so it's Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption. I didn't play much of it, but Octopath Traveler, I mean,
Yeah, it's
awesome. So yeah, that's really all I got. I can't contribute much there. So let's move on to best independent game. We have Celeste, Dead Cells. They misspelled it here, but Into the Breach, Return of Obra Dinn, and The Messenger. For me, it's going to have to be Dead Cells. And I understand. I think Celeste will probably win this category. But out of those, I think Dead Cells is the best independent game. Because I think Celeste is also up for Game of the Year.
Yes,
So
it is.
it's definitely not going to win that category, but it should win this category.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I would go with Celeste. It's just real short spurts of just awesomeness. It's really well put together. So that was definitely going to be what I'm going to be.
Yeah, I also wanted to go Celeste. I felt like it was a breath of fresh air with platformers, and I loved just how brutally difficult it was. But the developer thought about that and gave you like assist mode. I think that the game was just as smartly crafted as it was a good solid game, and the visuals I thought were really well done for a graphical style that has kind of been done and done and done and done. I thought that, but between the graphical style and the way that it felt, the physics to it, the weight to it, I thought Celeste takes it.
Cool. So then we have. Do you want to go best RPG yet, or do you want to go something different?
Let's hold RPG for a sec.
Okay. Don't shout at me. Let's go. Oh man, this is tough because there are games here I haven't played. Let's just go quick. Best ongoing game with Destiny 2, Fortnite,
Okay.
No Man's Sky, Overwatch, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
For me, this is pretty easy.
Overwatch. Go. Phil.
No,
No?
no. It's No Man's Sky because I was day one No Man's Sky, and I actually enjoyed it when it first came out. But it was maybe
So
after a day of playing.
You're the one that enjoyed it.
Yeah. So I think it was just because I was just hyped for it for so long. I'm one of those that like maybe a little Stockholm syndrome gets in there, and I'm just like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's wonderful. I promise. But then I didn't touch it, so I played it for maybe a week, I guess, and then I didn't touch it, and then whatever they called this last update over the summer, I was like, oh, you know what? Well, let's pop it in and see what it is. It has changed immensely. It was kind of the experience of having to relearn the game again. I died a lot, but yeah, it's just incredible that one, they didn't give up on the game,
Yeah,
and two, that they've done what they have to the game. It's just really good. They just did another update.
yeah. I think Xbox helping them out, kind of pull them out of their grave, really helped them out. Because
I would love, and Gio, you and I talked about this, I would love for No Man's Sky to win something to just sort of honor Corey, like you were saying, their stick to it. That's not my choice for this category, but yeah, I mean, I would love that for the team.
Yeah, it's gonna be Fortnite.
It's gonna be Fortnite.
That game is just taken over. Now I work in the school system. I mean, that's just everybody is talking about Fortnite. Fortnite is just all over people's mouths. It's just nuts.
Yeah, Fortnite was my choice here because look, I don't think it should win Game of the Year like some people have it going for, but like it's got to win something in my mind because for a game to take over the universe like it did and smartly, for it being a game that wasn't battle royale to
No.
begin with, to be a complete shift in business model and to be successful at it, to go from being just PC to being on basically every single device
Mhm.
in a single year is just absolutely astounding. And love or hate the game, I think that what they've done with that game is just super smart, and they deserve some sort of
It
recognition.
it was incredible, and I was day one on Save the World. Like I played the original. I was like,
Me too.
well, this is pretty fun. But then just to see what they've done, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
And
Yeah,
not
like
crazy.
we haven't really seen it before. Like
Yeah,
what they did was just it was neat to watch.
and not only is it on everything, it plays
everything,
well on
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
everything.
yeah. That's a great point. And you can play everybody on everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can play.
They,
You can be on
they
PS4
tore down the wall.
playing. Yeah. Well, I almost I said PS4. I don't know. Is
Is-
it? I don't
Yes,
know.
They-
Okay, you
it's at
can
the
now.
very least it's on a beta trial. But yeah,
Okay.
it's.
Well,
It's they
I
broke.
mean, like
Yes.
crossplay. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, if they did that, then they quite literally did what nobody has ever been done before.
Yes.
That speaks volumes on itself. That Sony would budge on anything.
I didn't think
That
they
it
would.
would bow a knee to anybody. Fortnite made them do it.
Mhm.
But to be able to definitely play with somebody from Switch, Xbox, and iPhone, that's pretty
Yeah.
incredible. And for it to be halfway decent is just incredible.
Yeah, for sure. Next, we have Best Action Adventure Game. Now, for me, this is kind of a group of death here. So we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
So I played God of War, Red Dead, and Spider-Man, and those were all really, really good games. But God of War is just, I mean, it's another level.
Yeah, I say because I want to. Yeah, a lot of these games are in Game of the Year, so whatever wins Game of the Year will win this. So this is kind of like the runner-up category. And Marvel Spider-Man did get a lot of hype and praise, but I don't think nearly as much as
No.
say God of War or Red Dead Redemption.
It was really good, but it's no God of War.
Yeah,
I mean, you could feel the axe like hitting your hand like through the controller. It seemed like it was just, and then you would go from a fight scene, a dragon's jaw would fall around you, and you be stoic, and then you go and it just seamlessly go into the next scene. It was just a beautiful game,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just another level.
I think God of War, just kind of a sneak peek, will win Game of the Year. So Red Dead Redemption 2 is winning Best Action Game here. That's what I feel.
Okay, so just to be different, because I hear everything you're saying about God of War, and I think that is super strong contender. I think we might be overlooking how much a lot of people loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Like
Really?
a lot of people liked that game. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people liked that game. Because it took a lot of what Origins did, and it just kind of improved upon it. I mean, and it did give a lot. Now, I mean, this is sort of a shot in the dark, so that we'll have some difference. But I'll be rooting for Assassin's Creed Odyssey and
All right.
Not me. Right, and then see, why do they have a Best Action game and then Best Action Adventure game?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm skipping Best Action Game. So,
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think? Maybe just go
I
Best
think- I
RPG,
think- I
Best
think-
Game.
yeah. I think that's what we do now.
All right, let's just go to what we care
Oh,
about.
we'll just
What?
maybe strategy game that has a lot of.
Oh, where's that?
I got. Do you want me to just roll it off real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The games are Valkyria Chronicles 4, BattleTech, Banner Saga 3, Into the Breach, and Frostpunk.
All right. Valkyria Chronicles 4 will take that. I think a lot of people like Into the Breach. It's probably going to win best in. Is it? I think they're in it in another category. But Valkyria Chronicles 4, I think, will take that one.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or
Can you read that list again? Because our IGN article does not have strategy.
Yeah, that's what
Valkyria Chronicles 4, BattleTech, the Banner Saga 3, Into the Breach, and Frostpunk.
Oh. Yeah, I think I've got to go VC4. As much as I loved Banner Saga 3, my problem with it is that it's really not a standalone game. Like, you have to play the others narrative wise to even understand what's going on in Banner Saga 3. So for that reason alone, I think I've got to give it to a game I feel like you could kind of jump in on and really play to its fullest, you know.
So Valkyria Chronicles. I mean, Frostpunk might be that as well. I
also just don't really know.
Yeah.
I haven't either.
So cool. Yeah, that's a pretty good category too. So let's go best RPG. We have Dragon Quest XI, which the Switch may never see. Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. Where is Divinity Original Sin 2?
the greatest the Rob of all.
Oh man. Okay, that would have been my vote, but apparently it's not here. But I'll let you guys go first.
Right in.
I played Monster Hunter World a ton, but I haven't finished Dragon Quest 11 yet. But I'm really enjoying that. I think that one's gonna win.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a strong choice. Gio, go ahead and do yours.
You're doing your.
I'm noting down our answers.
Oh, I thought you were doing your taxes. So I mean, I'd love to see Octopath win. I just want to see a Nintendo game win this category, and they're the only ones. And no, I mean,
and if it were any other Nintendo one, he would definitely.
It wouldn't have been this one, that's for sure.
It didn't even win the Switch RPG.
No. Pillars of Eternity is, I guess it's rumored or it is coming to the Switch, and I've seen gameplay of that. It looks really cool. It's got a lot of the voice actors from Critical Role, which really interests me. I'd love to play Dragon Quest XI, but I mean, who knows when we'll see that, if we see that. Monster Hunter World, I don't know about that one. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. Though I have it.
It was the loot. The loot. The loot.
Okay. All right. Well, you may not know about it. And it may not have been completely a game for me, but it almost was. I am going Monster Hunter World here. I am very happy that it's also being considered for Game of the Year. I think that is absolutely incredible for the kind of game that it is. It's such a niche game, and I mean, it has been for the entirety of its life. I mean, it's been on portable title. Yes, it has had a fan base, but talk about a welcome to the big boy stage with Monster Hunter World, and welcome to new gen, the current gen consoles. I think that it was an incredible story, and I think that the way that it absolutely stormed the world for about 3 months, really until kind of the summer.
I played it until God of War came out.
Yeah,
and that's kind of when April.
Yeah,
came out in January.
Yeah. It really capitalized on that early year, there wasn't a whole lot of competition. And so people were putting 400 hours into this game. And I think from that standpoint, I'm going to go with Monster Hunter World because I think it's just a great story. Yes, I think DQ11 was a good game, but I think it's like what we expect from DQ11.
Absolutely.
It was cool to see. It was cool to see a modern, a modern Dragon Quest game, but it's like we kind of expect that. We didn't expect the level of success from Monster Hunter that we got. I also just don't think that Ni no Kuni 2 had enough variety, had enough sort of meat on the bones to really take it over. And that's coming from someone who really loved Ni no Kuni 2. I just didn't think there was enough there. And then Octopath Traveler. Yes, I'd love a Nintendo game to take it, but I once again kind of like with Ni no Kuni 2. There's not enough there for me. You're talking about Monster Hunter that you could easily put 400 hours into. And then Pillars of Eternity. I want to love that series. I just haven't given it enough time. So I'm going curveball Monster Hunter.
I mean, you're not stretching because again, it's up for Game of the Year, so it's probably not going to win Game of the Year. It could very well win best role playing game. So yeah, it's just Monster Hunter is just not for me. That's all. Just like action. I mean, you like action RPGs. Isn't that an action RPG?
Yeah, but there's loot.
Oh, the loots, the loots. Like in Borderlands,
and you could ride the monsters and
the
stab them with your dagger.
The scale in that game, and it was just downright fun.
Yeah,
it's just, and it's been well documented with me. Like you couldn't pause the missions could take an hour long. I did a lot of times. My PlayStations can't just be uninterrupted, so. It was downright fun, though. It was just a lot of fun, especially if you had people to play with. If you had a buddy, two buddies,
or a random person would just pop
I never played with randoms, but some of my favorite gaming memories this year was with two of my friends on our PS4s in a living room playing Monster Hunter World together. It was great.
I have it. It'll just stay shrink wrapped forever. All right, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, talk about. No, I did pop it in like a couple days ago, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I don't have time to relearn this. It was a good thought.
You gotta relearn the language.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just keep my memory.
All right, so then finally, Game of the Year. We have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2. So, for me, it's going to be God of War. I think that might be the common consensus between us all. These are all very good games, except for Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I mean, you can ride a unicorn.
Who cares? So you can actually ride a unicorn in that game?
I've seen pictures of people riding unicorns. I've never played the game.
Fantastic. So I mean, I would love to have played that game when my PlayStation 4 arrives. Never. I will play that game. Red Dead Redemption, from what I've played, is visually stunning, and I would assume that God of War is that as well. I mean, I know that they're very different games in terms of how they're played. Red Dead is obviously more of an open world game, whereas God of War is more of an open world on rails, or is it just on rails pretty much?
It's on rails, yeah.
Yeah, it's rails.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
a little bit of openness.
Okay. I would say you can go wherever you want.
Yes.
You're just going to be railed till
yes.
So like it's just not open area. That's what we'll say.
Okay.
It's you can go wherever you want to, once you get to a certain point. You can travel back, but it's kind of corridored in a way.
Yeah, you'll go
in a way that you don't really feel it.
No, exactly, and that yes, that's it. completely agree with that. You don't feel like you're kind of being guided. You kind of feel like there's sometimes when you do, obviously, but for the most part, you feel like you're the one doing it. I've never played a game that I felt like I was doing so much of it as God of War.
Yeah.
It was great.
I think the reason it wins for me is like when I was talking about Celeste. Actually, it was just like the way that the game is built is almost as impressive as like how fun the game is itself. The way that God of War is built, it just seems like from the ground up, every mechanic kind of fits together in this sort of mosaic of just beauty that we haven't really seen before. Like the amount of polish on it was incredible. And I know we heard in all of the press leading up, you know, a single shot, there's no camera breaks. And I think that it succeeded. Like I was even kind of burning out on that. Like, okay, yeah, it's going to be gimmicky, and it wasn't. The fact that I forgot that it was single shot while I was playing is a testament to how good of a no camera break system it was, because it didn't feel cheap. It felt real. And I think that the fact that there were no like camera breaks for cutscenes really helped with the corridors, because one of the most well-known corridor game of all time is Final Fantasy 13. One of the reasons the corridors are so bad is because you can't go left to right, and every 4 steps there's a cutscene that breaks you. So you're going 4 steps, cutscene, 4 steps, cutscene, and you feel claustrophobic. But God of War, even when cutscenes come in, it's just like an extension, and the camera's moving around you and it feels like an open space. So whenever you get control of him again, which sometimes I sat there waiting for the cutscene to continue and realized I'm supposed to be walking, that was just really cool. It was just a really unique gaming experience. And on top of that, it was just fun and a really good game. Yeah. And I also think because time has passed, Corey, like you mentioned, it was back in April. We forget just how big of an impact the big footprint that it left. I mean, we're talking 10 all over, hundreds on most every site that reviewed it. I mean, that is monumental.
I think we're all in consensus here that God of War will be the victor here. And
two, I feel like Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of came out. I don't know. I mean, I know it got some high scores, but I didn't really feel the love for it like I thought it was going to.
No, I mean,
no.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Corey.
No, I would say that it is a little divisive, a little bit, slightly, and not even counting into like how it's doing the online now, but just the fact that I don't know, I enjoyed it, but some people didn't like the pacing of it. Some people didn't like I guess they just had more. Maybe after playing God of War, they just expected a little more of a polishness on some aspects. But I think like when you're playing a Rockstar game, like it's a next level Rockstar game in my book. But it's not. I don't think the accomplishment is quite as grand as what God of War was able to do.
Yeah, and they had some negative publicity going into the game's release as well. But you're right. There are some, only from what I played, there are some pacing issues. The animations, kind of just by looting, it just kind of throws that game pace off. You go in to loot a chest, and it just takes forever to do that. But
I also think that probably, and I'm not saying across the board. I'm really kind of talking about myself here, but because of just how successful GTA 5 has been over the years, and just the juggernaut that has grown into, I guess I was expecting what Rockstar did. It's going to be flawless, but at the end of the day, it's still a Rockstar game. So there is going to be divisiveness. There is going to be controversy there, no matter what they do. So that, this probably did release exactly how could have been expected. Right. I was probably just sort of a little blinded by that juggernaut that is GTA.
Yeah, and their games continue to grow. It's not like an ongoing game, but their game continues to grow. Even GTA 5 is
Yeah.
currently being played a ton, especially online. So their game will continue to morph into whatever it is when their next release comes out. So, but it's definitely, there's a lot of replayability with Red Dead because it has online. God of War is, I don't think there's any
Yeah.
replayability there. But it is quite, from what I've heard, especially from the way you guys talk about it, it's quite an adventure. So, awesome, very good.
Excellent.
I've run out of water.
Just checking something here. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, great discussion, guys. And like we said Friday, let us know how we did. I've got our answers official right here. They're in the books, so we'll be watching tomorrow night, see how they did. You can tweet at us and or jump in Discord. We've got a the Switch RPG Discord, which is discord.switchrpg.com. We've got a channel just for that. So get in there. If you want to watch the show with some friends, it's a great place to be. So that is actually going to wrap up what I think has become the longest episode in Switch RPG podcast history.
What?
So if you are listening at this point, thank you so much for being along for the ride. And we want to thank Corey of RPG Reruns for being along for the ride with us as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me
on. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you once again, everyone, for listening and for interacting with us, answering our side quests last week and sending questions this week. Keep them coming. Remember, you can always get in touch with us by tweeting at us at SwitchRPG and also hitting us up through email. That is podcast@switchrpg.com. And then remember that you can listen to us. You can watch us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/switchrpg, and that we go live at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern time. I said it correctly this week.
Oh, I'm so
and you can
proud
listen
of you.
to us on your favorite podcast app every Friday. And if you like what you hear, remember you can go to patreon.com/switchrpg. Throw us $1 or $2. If not, you just being a part of the community is what we love. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you love Switch stuff, you want to head over to SwitchRPG.com for all kinds of Switch RPG content, articles, podcasts, YouTube. It's all great stuff. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to leave you with this thought.
Oh, no.
Leave you with this thought. Back in 1986.
Whoa.
A little sports game was created. It was called Madden. It was developed by none other than Bethesda Game Studios, one of the greatest RPG makers of all time. Just want to leave you with food for thought. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good week.
You're the tiger.
Oh, my God. Good. You're the tiger. Goodbye. We're leaving. So long, jerks.
See you, everybody.